Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. So, now that I fully recovered from yesterday's monstrous upset win by the Minnesota Timberwolves, because the Knicks and Pacers series is like the Thunder Mavericks series to me. Well, no. The Knicks series, I didn't expect much. It's just too many injuries. They literally had OG on horse tranquilizers. He only played 5 minutes, so no big deal. The OKC series versus the Mavericks, I'm not gonna lie, that series surprised me as well, just for the simple fact knowing how off the Mavericks looked until that trade deadline where they landed PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford of the Washington Wizards. PJ was traded from Charlotte, which allowed them to clear out uh, space for Brandon Miller, who, congrats to him, made all first team rookie honors today. But I honestly, when I made my prediction earlier this year, that was before the trade deadline acquisitions. So obviously things changed a little bit for me. They're more in their grown man era, Dallas Mavericks. They got two big men, wings, plethora of wings. PJ Washington and Tim Hardaway could be literally starters on a like just above lottery team. You know what I mean? And then when you pair Kyrie and Green, you still got Green off the bench. Also, they're loaded. They got all the utensils to feast. Um, Luca needs all the rest he can get, obviously, but this Minnesota series against Denver, I did not see things playing out this way. Oh my God, I did not see that happening. First and foremost, the evolution of Anthony Edwards. I remember the first couple. It's like Curry. I tell people all the time. When I first watched Curry, I was like, that guy's gonna win a ring somehow one day. You could tell by his temperament. I didn't think it was gonna be a dynasty like he had, um, like he had been doing. This guy Anthony Edwards, though, I remember watching his interviews and being like, this guy is special. Just his interviews, though, right? But then I'm like, oh, he can't pull nothing with Carl Towns next to him because Towns, I honestly I didn't see him as a playoff riser. And despite him having some very questionable moments, you have to commend his low post defensive efforts against Jokic in that series. He stood his ground, especially when you look at um, Rudy Gobert's performance against Joker. Jokic looked like something else. You know what I mean? He looked like a world beater. And for Rudy to be a four-time depoy, which is exactly what I was frustrated with, it was Carl Towns who, in fact, was the one who rose to the occasion. He even looked pretty good putting the ball on the floor. Now, I will say this: their second best scorer at times looked like Nas Reed, who's their undrafted six man, one of three undrafted six men. Unbelievable scoring outpour that he would do coming off that second unit in the fourth quarter. This guy not only is a playoff riser, he's a fourth quarter aficionado. And at this point, the signature, a putback dunk is quite frankly a signature move from him at this moment. There's moments where he flashed Kevin Garnett type performance. You know what I mean? Where it was like, is this KG? I mean, he's doing everything that can, hitting jump shots, driving, dunking the ball, put back slams. I mean, he always knows where to be. He doesn't back down from his matchups. Nas is just a quiet stone cold killer, man. You gotta love what he did. And then, Mike Conley, even at this age of 35, 36, dude is still, you know what I mean, anchoring the ship. And though they're going to need him to be a lot more aggressive, I mean, you got to definitely tip your hat off to this guy because he's still kicking and pushing. We've seen his peers, Rudy, what was the point guard from Cleveland? Rudy, uh, from Spain, just retired. Chris Paul was on the brink of wondering whether he should retire. You see the importance of the league going back to the guards, looking at teams like Phoenix who don't have a lead guard and what it's done for them, especially now with these athletic wings playing in the NBA. These 6'8", 6'9" guys like McDaniels, like Herb Jones, like uh, Nikhil Alexander Walker. It's absolutely crucial that you have a point guard who can get the ball where it needs to be when it needs to be. Timing is key now because, and you're going to need to start calling plays more. No more is that ISO ball. I know the playoffs is the atmosphere is known for get the ball to your lead scorer and get out the way. But now with the gifted, lengthy perimeter defenders there are out there, let me tell you something. You can ill afford to not make a timely pass. You can ill afford to not be moving out there with purpose. There's a level of precision that is going to be required if you are in the NBA these days moving forward. And it's no coincidence Kentucky's blessing the league with two of them, Reed Shepard and Rob Dillingham, in the upcoming draft, because these guys, because this league needs the guy also from Serbia. He's a 6'6", drawing comparisons to Tony Parker, another top 5 guy. He just had a knee sprain, same knee sprain that he messed up in February, so he wasn't able to really fully perform in the draft combine. But you're going to see the league return back to the point guards. Watch out for Sam Cassell's movement. Darrell Armstrong has been pivotal and crucial in the development and progress that you're seeing on the Mavericks bench. So be on the lookout, honestly, moving forward. But kudos to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That was probably the greatest upset I've ever bear witnessed in my entire time of watching basketball. Well, what about the 3-1 Cavs? Here's the problem with Believeland. When Draymond got suspended for stepping over LeBron and all that cursing and all that stuff, guess what? That opened the door. It gave you a little bit of hope. I did not see this happening. I did not see this in a mile away. There were so many aficionados, champions, ex-champions, who were claiming that's the end of the series. You know, they've already given up. You lose 2 in a row. They're marching back. I think one of a handful of teams to cough up a 2-0 lead. So it was, all the writing was on the wall. Rudy was getting exposed. People were starting to bring up the old tweets of him being called soft last year and all this stuff. I refrained from it because I was like, you know what? I don't want to bring up history and all this. I didn't even mention it in my, I think I did mention it in my YouTube video, but I didn't post anything on Twitter. Check me out, GL, the number 8, BAL_sports. Because I just wanted to respect the moment. I didn't want to, not that my voice holds any weight, obviously, but I'm just saying, like, I was just like, you know what, for the culture, I'm going to leave it alone. I don't want to put any fire or be accused of being a clout chaser, which is one of the worst things you can call somebody. So I just kept it to myself. And I'm going to tell you something. I still stand on it. I don't feel like he should have got Defensive Player of the Year, but he definitely could have got Most Improved, because you can see how much the Timberwolves have markedly improved when he's played with confidence. And I'm going to tell you what was the clinching play. There was 2 big plays, and it both came from their front line. And expect the league, no matter how far the Timberwolves get, expect them to be the new normal. We're going to go back to regular point guards. We're going to go back to big man basketball. But him hitting that fadeaway was like playing 2K against your friend, and they make a unnecessary, and you just want to unplug the game, like, that's it, game over, I'm cool. What do you do after that? He's not even known for that, and he hits that big-time bucket, going beyond his job description in a Game 7. I mean, that was such a gut-wrenching performance. You can't even get mad. It's like they earned it. They won it that day. That day, they were the better man, and you can't even be mad about it. Also, that putback jam with under 30 seconds by Cat really sealed the game. It was symbolic of what was going on. Nas Reed tip jam, again, at the end. And for them to get that win on KG's birthday, haven't done it since KG and Latrell Sprewell, Sam Cassell series. It's just so many full circle moments. Honestly, I could really see a Minnesota and Boston series, but I don't want to jump the gun yet. They've still got a lot of work to do. Dallas is clearly in their season of progress, and they're returning back to the hands of time. Jason Kidd is emerging as one of the better tacticianers after many years in the league with different head coaching jobs, whether it be Brooklyn, whether it be Milwaukee. He's finally really found his rhythm. I thought the Lakers made a big mistake from day one. They should have gave him a contract, and now they're paying for it. Ty Lue, the same thing. But kudos to the Dallas Mavericks. They have hit a different gear, and it's why you can never say never. And when the season is over, these are 2 big-time underdogs. Either one gets to the finals, it's still going to be truly remarkable no matter what, because neither one of these teams. I mean, the Wolves have always been in first, but it's like the Utah Jazz kind of way, where it's like, but you got Rudy Gobert, so your ceiling is your ceiling. With Cat though being in the equation, you can still remain a big team, and if he goes to the bench and not fold. That's the other thing. And then you pair Nas Reed. Then when you pair McDaniels, who's 6'9", that just it's just too much length, too much ground being covered. There was at one point they had slow mo. Hey, you know how sick this is? He's a second round pick, slow mo. Anderson, Kyle Anderson from UCLA, second round pick, and I knew he was going to be nice. I knew he was going to be a good player in the league. That's crazy. As a kid, I was watching him play. I'm like, he's going to be in the NBA. Guy was a second rounder, if I'm not mistaken, or he was a late first by the Spurs for sure. I remember, and I knew, and I was like, and I even predicted that was going to be the right team for him. But they had Kyle Anderson at the one. I think Mike Conley was still on the floor, but they had at one point like both McDaniel's, slow mo was on the court. I think both big men, they went big, and it was like, but you didn't. They didn't skip a beat. They don't skip a beat. And as long as McDaniel's can hit that corner three, you don't got to do a lot. Even though he even rose to the occasion. I mean, there was moments where he was looking like Ant Edwards out there himself. It was like his performance was rubbing off on others, which is another key thing we're not talking enough about. The leadership from Anthony Edwards. He is starting to rub off on these guys. They're picking up his spirit, his humility. Cat could only take you so far, and Edwards is doing the remainder. I mean, this is truly amazing. I feel so bad because I had one follower in the summertime who was like, talk about the Wolves more, and I said I was, and I didn't get to do it. But I'm telling you now, there's going to be enough seasons to talk about them because they're just going to keep getting better. All right, Utopians, I won't talk your ear off. I feel bad. I should have had this video ready yesterday, but I'll try to do better next time. Global, out.